Today, I'm standing in front of a converted warehouse in northeast Minneapolis. On the third floor of this warehouse is the office of an organization called Urban Arts. Informed sources tell us that Urban Arts is responsible for turning 70 high school students into pickpockets, orphans, and murderers. This is Randall Cutting. He's a 7th grader from Marshall University High School. According to friends, Randall was a promising student from a good family. This summer, Randall suddenly ended up an orphan in a workhouse, apparently the doing of Urban Arts. This is Paul Marks, a 10th grader from Washburn High School. Like Randall Cutting, Marks was a promising student. Then he became involved with Urban Arts. What has been the effect of these young people who have been changed from scholars to scum? That can be best answered by looking at Carl Matson as a Washburn student and as a leader of a gang of thieves. How did Matson fall prey to Urban Arts?
Well, I need something to do with my summer, and I figured, well, why not try something new?
As we heard more and more about Urban Arts, we decided to investigate further. We traveled to South High School, where the band of orphans, thieves, and murderers met. It was then that we learned the ugly truth. We did not have a scandal. Rather, we had a play, the Urban Arts Summer Theater Company production of Oliver. Randall Cutting played Oliver Twist, Paul Marks played the Artful Dodger, and Carl Matson played Fagin. Terry Hanson, a South High School teacher, was selected to be the artistic director and production designer for the show. He describes how Oliver was selected as this summer's play.
Well, we had no idea what kind of response we were going to get for this project, since it's the first time we had done it. So we thought it would be wise not to select the particular show until after we'd held auditions and taken applications. So for a period of several weeks, I attempted to make this program known to students around Minneapolis by visiting various schools, sending letters to English and music teachers, sending letters to counselors, having schools make announcements over the public address systems. Then we invited students to send in their applications. I contacted each of them individually and set up an audition time for them during a one-week period. In that week period, we auditioned about 120 students from about 29 different schools. They came over to South and did an acting audition, a music audition, and a dance audition. At the end of the week, the choreographer and the associate director and I sat down and took a look at the kind of talent that was represented by the applicants and decided to pick a show before we had our callback auditions. At that time, we chose the show Oliver and invited certain students to come back for a callback audition at the end of that week. We announced what show we were going to do and described to them some things about the show and about some of the characters, and then spent a lot of time in improvisational type auditions to determine who was best suited to certain roles. Well, one of the interesting facets of this show is that we have such a broad range of students involved, from 7th graders to 12th graders. And that's especially one of the reasons we picked the show Oliver, because we thought we could accommodate those wide ranges of ages by this particular show.
While many productions have as many as 40 rehearsals, rehearsals for Oliver started June 15th, with an opening night on July 16th. That gave Hanson 21 days to rehearse. He talks about that experience.
Probably my biggest frustration is lack of time. It's a new experience for me to be putting a show together in this brief period of time. Of course, I'm used to having the rehearsal spread over a very long period of time during the school year. And here we are working exclusively on the show. And it's a new experience and one that I just need to adjust to. And I'm still in the process of trying to adjust. It's also frustrating to try to put the show together in this 4-hour block and schedule kids into this period of time and make good use of the time. It would be much easier if we could schedule kids over the whole day and see them when we want to and send them home when we want to. But we're trying to structure this so that everybody is here all the time and can derive benefit from all the different kinds of rehearsals that are going on and all the staff people that are here together.
We asked some of the actors to describe a typical day of rehearsal.
Well, there hasn't really been a typical rehearsal. It changes from day to day because we are on such a short time limit, you know, and we got to really keep moving and keep the pace going, so it's not really typical.
I'll get here at 8 o'clock, sign in, then we'll have usually some warm-ups for our voices and our bodies physically and everything. And then we'll each get assignments where to go, and we'll get up there and block a scene and go through songs until we get it polished off a little. And then we'll just, then we do that for 2 hours. And then we have a 15-minute break. It's not nearly enough. But we have to do so much in such a little time, I guess it's not really necessary.
The hardest thing is getting up in the morning.
Well, in between, when you're sitting there and people are up on stage and up in different practice rooms and everything, and you're just sitting there watching people do stuff, and it's a lot more fun to be, you know, up on the stage or doing anything, sweeping or, you know, I'd rather sweep than just lie around and watch.
In order to minimize the time that the actors have nothing to do, Hanson has a large staff to work with several groups of actors at the same time.
A typical day of rehearsal is a very complex situation that takes a lot of time to plan and organize, because we have about 60 people in the cast, and to keep all of them occupied during that period of time is quite a challenge, and to be able to rehearse the show. We start the day with a meeting of all the actors in the theater and do some warm-up exercises and use that opportunity to make necessary announcements. Then we break up into groups and we try to stick to 1-hour blocks of time. Some of the students will be in one room rehearsing a scene. Other students will be in another space rehearsing a dance from the show. There are also opportunities for students who are not involved in a specific scene at that time to be working with other members of the staff on skills that are not directly involved in the show but are indirectly involved in the show and certainly related to theater. Some students visit our staff member who's from Minnesota Opera to work on singing skills and techniques. We also have David Gray, who's working with students on movement, and sometimes students are assigned to him to work on exercises or dance routines that help develop their movement skills. So during that 4-hour period, the students are involved in a great variety of rehearsals: music rehearsals, dance rehearsals, and acting rehearsals. Because all of the students are here for 4 hours a day, and we want to make use of their time and also get the show rehearsed in that period of time, we have found it necessary to have a large number of people on the staff helping in various capacities. I have an associate director who is assisting in staging the show. She and I collaborate on our concept of the staging, and then she works with certain scenes and actors in blocking those scenes, and I have taken other scenes and done the same thing. And then as we bring the show together later on in our rehearsal period, she will be taking over more of the staging, directing, and I will be assuming more of the technical direction. I also have a choreographer who also is serving the role as costume designer, and then we have an assistant with dance who is David Gray. I should be mentioning these people's names, I suppose. Nancy Dady is our choreographer, costume designer. My associate director is Lois Hart. Our dance assistant is David Gray. I have a vocal assistant, Sanford Moore. We have another vocal assistant, Jim McKeel from Minnesota Opera. We have a piano conductor who is also an accompanist at times, named Jim Ledbetter. We have a publicity assistant, business manager, prop master, Paul Knox. So all of those people are serving on the staff in one capacity or another. Well, I think for myself, I'm trying to provide a worthwhile experience for the students and to put on as good a show as we can with the talents that we've got. My talents, the students' talents, the talents of the staff. And I, at the same time, consider every show I do a challenge, and I consider a learning experience for myself as well as for the students.